This is not what I was supposed to be doing with my day. This is what I was supposed to be doing with my day. Painting the footboard of my bed. But it is too windy. And I was going to have a little talk. While doing that, hi, I'm Dawn. And I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing with painting a footboard, and I don't know what I'm doing with writing a novel, which is my primary focus with all of my spare time here lately. But the weather is so wonderful. There's just a little bit of sun coming in the clouds. Tomorrow's supposed to be a big storm, so I thought I'll get in some painting, something that I have not tackled all summer long because it's too dang hot. And well, today I'm going to get back on it because I want to get my bedroom set up, and I plan on painting all of the bedroom furniture. And of course, as with anything I endeavor, I can't just jump in and paint it and be done with it. I have to be creative with it, get a little bit artistic with it, which creates a lot of work for me and usually gets me in over my head. And I guess that's where I am with my book too. However, I have managed to get to chapter 15. That's where I'm writing right now. And I decided a little while back that there is enough to talk about when you're writing a novel to start a YouTube channel. But like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never written a novel before. I've only started novels before, multiple novels, and I never got past the first chapter. So I'm doing pretty good right now to be on chapter 15. I mean, that is a major accomplishment. But that being said, I don't have advice to give anybody or expertise to offer. I have written in some capacity all my life, whether it's journaling, poetry, blogs. I have had several blogs. None of them have been very popular or productive, I guess. They've been productive for me in practicing my writing. The one I was most prolifically writing for is the one I kept anonymous, so no one could find it. But there was a nice little writing community that sprung up between myself and some other bloggers at that time. And I reached a level of security and confidence in my writing that I felt for the first time ever that I could call myself a writer. And it lasted a year. That was it. So here I am. And a story hit my heart in 2011. I kind of downloaded this story, and it has good Lord. Hi. Over the years, I have attempted a few novels. I've started them. One was for NaNoWriMo, and I didn't even finish the first chapter of that one. And there is a dog that will not let me talk next door. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to ignore him and keep going. So that one was going to be something along the lines of, now I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was Ashley Judd and Hugh Jackman. And she had some theory about cows. And it seems like she either wrote an article or a book about men and being like cows, something like that. So anyway, that was the kind of the gist of the story that I was writing, but I didn't get very far. It was going to be a novel that the protagonist was posing herself as giving advice, and it was going to be first person, which is notable because I hate first person, and that's the most popular way of writing right now. The book I'm writing right now is not first person. Anyway. Okay. I'll be right in. It's my mom. My mom lives with me, and that's an adventure. Yeah. So this day has not been going according to plan, but I've been wanting to start the YouTube channel for a long time. And the most interesting thing, like I said, I don't have any advice to give. I don't have any expertise to offer. And personally, I don't think it's very interesting to see people try methods to go through the process of discovering their method. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on any toes out there, but that's not something that's of interest for me, and so I didn't want to do that. But I do think everybody has something relevant to offer, even if they're new to a new endeavor. And for me, I think it's the interesting things I run across trying to research, because my novel is a historic fiction. You might call it historic fantasy, but not really. It's got that fantastical, supernatural element to it, but it is not the main part of the story. It's just kind of interwoven through the story, and you would have to stick with it to find out how it really interplays and influences the way the story or the protagonist's life is going. And I am researching things that I never imagined I would ever want to research. For example, prostitution in the 19th century, specifically the South. Prostitution in slavery. Contraband camps was one thing I had never looked into before or knew much about. What was the most recent thing I was looking at? Oh yeah, plea bargaining in the 19th century. I'm not a law student. I'm not interested in court cases really, but there's going to be a court case that is prominent in my novel, so I have to do some research on that, and I never thought I would. And along the way, there's a lot of discoveries. It's amazing, for example, what a census will tell you about the home life of the people. I even found out, looking into the census of this city, which, by the way, I'm using actual people who lived as ancillary characters in the story. My protagonist is fictional. The main characters are all fictional, but they will interact with real historical figures from that time, most of them not known nationally. There's a couple of them that were known nationally at that time, but probably most people not in my hometown would not know who they were today. In fact, one of them I can almost guarantee you no one remembers, except for a few smattering of people who have taken a specific direct interest in the topic of, like, the Civil War in the South, in my city, which is Mobile, Alabama. I can tell you that I doubt anyone without specific interest in Mobile, Alabama, or in journalism during the Civil War would know who one of those main characters is. And the other one, probably no one would remember who she is unless they've read one of her books. And it would be kind of a outlier for you to even hear about her to read one of her books. But she was the most successful American female author of her time. She was from here, and there's I think it's an elementary school named after her. So most people, whenever I tell them I'm writing a book and I mention that she's a character, I say, you know, the woman that the school's named after, because I know they have no idea who she is. Okay, so that I found out that her best friend was a neighbor of, okay, see if you can follow this, because it gets a little convoluted. I've talked about two national figures of that time that people don't remember anymore. The sister-in-law of the newspaper editor, lived on the same street, just probably a few doors down from the best friend of the famous authoress. And I have all of those people in my novel, not prevalently, but you would, important enough. And then another character, this is in the census, another character that I was introducing as sort of a foil for my protagonist. She has a backstory that is a bit mysterious, and I'm not giving anything away. In the very first chapter, you know that some things that she's presenting herself inauthentically. So there's a true life person that I've introduced as a character to be a foil for my protagonist in her manufactured backstory. And he introduces some tension. That person that I've named to be the foil, when I looked into the census, y'all, this blew my mind. I looked into the census, and he is a boarder, because a lot of houses in the city after the Civil War, income is the economy is hard. Income for a lot of people, it's not stable the way it was, and there's a lot of widows. Now, that's not the case in these characters, but a lot of people open up their homes for boarders as a way to make ends meet. So this character that is a foil for my protagonist is a boarder of the sister-in-law of the newspaper editor. Talk about walls and worlds closing in on my protagonist, even more than I imagined when I first started. These are the things, these little gifts that history gives you when you're trying to tell a story. And that's what I feel like I have to share here, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you as I go through writing my story. Just the thoughts of developing the story, maybe some frustrations, but the main point is just the trying to create a historical fiction, what I end up researching that I never thought I would research, and the little gifts I find, and the little kismet intersections like that one. I look forward to sharing that with you, and well, I don't know when I'm going to get back to that footboard. We'll see. I put everything up, and now I feel like I could do it again. And as soon as I get everything out to do it, the wind's going to kick up and be really bad, gusting again. So anyway, Dawn is signing out. Until next time. Bye.